Hello, and welcome to our discussion of the element of value. Value is defined as the relative lightness or darkness of an object. Artists use value to create all kinds of illusions in their artwork. To start our discussion, I want to bring your attention to this artwork by Andy Goldsworthy. In this piece, he has created an arrangement of value using only stones with a black center. This gives you the illusion of depth and possibly even a portal into another universe. Let's explore how value is used by artists to create other illusions. Before we move on, I want to be sure we all have the same definition of value. When we discuss value as an element of art, we are not talking about the monetary worth of an artwork. Again, value refers to the relative lightness or darkness of an object. Now let's explore value in two dimensions. Value can create depth. In this print by Francisco de Goya, we see that the objects, such as the figure of death, are closest to the viewer and are portrayed in a white or light value, while the value gradually gets darker as it recedes into the background. This gives the illusion of space on a two-dimensional surface. Here is another example of depth in a painting created by Angelica Kaufman. Here, the value is not only creating space, but it is subordinating the background. When something is subordinated, it means that the artist is not drawing attention to it. The light values of the two figures in the center draw our eye and are emphasized to create a focal point. This is all done using value. In addition to creating depth in an artwork, value can be used to define form. Value is essential in creating a three-dimensional, believable shape on a two-dimensional surface. This drawing is a wonderful illustration of the concept because the artist has fully finished part of the figure with representational value and left other parts unfinished. This technique also draws our eye to the parts of the figure where the artist wishes us to look. Notice how the parts of the drawing with value are full and have weight, while the unfinished areas seem flatter and less defined. Value is essential to creating a believable space. Let's examine the values used in this drawing of a sphere. Not only do we have highlight and shadow, we have subtle variations of light that work together to create a believable round form that has mass. In addition to just plain shadow, you have reflected light that bounces back onto the surface of the sphere and a cast shadow that helps ground the object. You have the highlight up at the top, as well as a halftone or medium gray at the edge of the highlight. Let's pause for a minute and do an activity. I would like you to get out a piece of your sketchbook paper and draw this sphere as accurately as possible. Label all the categories of light and shadow. If you need some pointers, there's a helpful video in your online lesson. Now that you have experimented with shading and the categories of light, I'd like to discuss other ways artists create value using lines, dots, and hatch marks. The density of the lines determine the shade of the value. This technique was first used in printmaking, such as etching, where it was difficult to create flat areas of deep value simply because the medium wouldn't allow it. This image is an example of a self-portrait created by Rembrandt that uses hatching and cross-hatching techniques. In our assignment this week, we will practice creating value with hatching, cross-hatching, and stippling. These activities will help you be a more efficient artist and convey three-dimensional space more effectively.